Hello, there we are. Good morning, everyone, or evening, or afternoon, or wherever it is you're coming to me from. I'm Kate Richburg, and it's Free Tip Friday today. Yes, it's time. I am trying to see, it looks like things might be a little frozen here. I want to make sure that I can see everybody here. Let me see. I can see, you can see me, and I can see things moving, but I cannot see what's going on in my feed here. So bear with me here just a second while I see if I can make this work out. Let me see here. So just bear with me here. There we go. I can see you. Can you see me? There we are. I think so. Let's see if people are jumping on here. I've got so many devices to work. Yes, I see all y'all. There you are. There are a bunch of hellos. Hello. Good morning. It's great to see everybody here. We are going to work on some, ooh, that was an extreme close-up right there. Sorry, that just went up. There we go. I hope everybody can see me. Working all of these, all the cameras, the screen, the streaming, all of that. But I think we're good to go. Let me have some coffee just to get myself going here. Alrighty, well, it's Friday. We made it to Friday. Yes. And today we're going to be working with some fun stuff. We've got some new chain that I am sharing with you today. It is called our Fine Line chain. And this is indeed fine. It is so vintage-esque. I can't wait to share with you some of the stuff I want to play around with. So again, I'm Kate Richburg in front of the camera from beadshop.com. We see Gita on the other side of the broadcast, all the way there in Denmark. She's posting as beadshop.com and faithfully does our links and helps out for every broadcast. We're so fortunate to have her. I also have, what a surprise, a friend here with me today who may or may not assist me. Let's see if he assists me today. We'll see. You don't knock over the camera, buddy. Beating with the cat. Free Tip Friday with Kate and Alfred. All right, Alfie, you go on. You can come back a little bit later. So, okay, I'm going to turn this camera around so we can get right to it because we have some fun stuff going on. And yes, I will talk. Laura, you were talking about what's going on tomorrow, and I do have a fun thing planned for tomorrow. We are doing a trunk show on our in our bead table group. That's going to be happening starting at 10:30 a.m. So if you're not part of the bead table group here on beadshop.com, on the Facebook group, if you go right to our, let me make some room because obviously Alfred wants to sit here. There we go. You sit right there, baby. If you're not part of our bead table group, it's called beadshop.com, our community group, the bead table. Go over and apply. You just have to answer a couple questions so we make sure that you're a real person and not a robot. And then we'll jury you in. And tomorrow, starting at 10:30 a.m., I'm going to be posting some trunk show albums, which is going to be really fun. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 different albums that are going up, full of vintage finds that are exclusive, that were some pieces we had left over from our trunk show that we did at the bead retreat. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to have a good time with it. So that will go up on tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on our bead table group, not here on our beadshop.com page. So jump over, beadshop.com community, add yourself, and I'll jury people in this afternoon so that you're a part of it. And all of the guidelines and stuff are posted in the group. And of course, what do I have? I have a cat sitting on my computer. That's where cats belong. Alrighty, so I'm going to turn this around and we're going to get started because we have some stuff to get to today. So let me turn this around. You can see there's a kitty cat tail there. We're going to move that bad boy over in just a second if we can. I'm going to move the camera. So enjoy a big luscious cat tail for the moment. I'm going to move myself over so I've got some room because God forbid that we move the cat, right? Isn't that how it always is? Let's see. So Alfred, I need my computer. Let me see if I can get him off of there. There we go. Go on now. Alrighty. Let me bring my computer over here. And no, I think the auction's going to be real fun. I think we're going to have a good time with it. And scoot on over. There we go. And let me lift this up so you guys have a real good view. There we go. And hopefully we can get all this going. There we are. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for bearing with me on the cat move. Get your big fluffy tail out of the way, mister. Okay. So, as you guys know, and if you're having trouble, are you guys having trouble with the broadcast? You know, go ahead and usually that's on the end of the, on Facebook's end. So if you exit out of Facebook and go back in, I bet that will help. That'll help your feed. Okay, so so give that a try. But I hope all of you guys can hear me. Okay, hear me pretty well. It should be all right. Okay. You know, and yes, it says you guys are saying that if you put a box, the cat will sit in the box. Alfred is not a box sitter. Isn't that funny? You would think he would be because he's into everything else, but he actually is not a box sitter. So, so I've got a lot of stuff in front of me, kind of a messy table today. But I wanted to show you. Let's start by first looking at the different chains that we have. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit tighter. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys are having trouble with the feed. Everything is good on my end. Sometimes it's just a Facebook thing. When you go in and watch it on the replay, you shouldn't have anything freezing. So I'm sorry about that. I wish I had more control over over what's going on with the Facebook feed. So I'm sorry about that, you guys. But again, the feed should be fine on the replay. Okay, so here is the fine line chain. It's a new chain for us, and I love it. This is, you've heard it called a lot of different things. Sometimes you hear it called foxtail chain, you hear it called beading chain, but it's a very vintage type of thing. I'm going to move the camera a little bit here. It's a very vintage type thing to string on, okay? And sometimes you see old necklaces, especially like old vintage crystal. Sometimes you see it strung on this, what we call foxtail chain. We're calling it fine line. We're calling it beading chain, just to be kind of generic with it. Okay, so so I love it. It comes in a bunch of different flavors, as we like to call them here at beadshop.com. It comes in three antiqued versions: the brass, the copper, and antique silver. And then we have it in a shiny silver and in a shiny gold, which is great. So, so we've got all kinds of colors. And if you saw the newsletter on Tuesday, you saw that I used it with some of these large hold beads. And I've got a whole mess of things. I've got a bunch of things right here that we're going to look at that fit in it. And we're also going to look at some closures. Okay? So, and again, it's so great to have everybody here on Free Tip Friday. It really is, I'll be honest, one of the highlights of my week for sitting here, and it's just like sitting at my bead table, just sharing knowledge with you guys. So I'm so glad that you guys have dropped in. Again, while I'm getting a little set up here, you guys, some of you who are new and some of you who are watching on my Kate Richburg Jewelry Educator feed, hello to you guys as well. I have the comments coming up on our beadshop.com feed, so I'm sorry I can't see my Jewelry Educator comments, but a big hello to you guys over there as well. You can find all of the things that I'm using right on our website, beadshop.com. And if you haven't done so already, you guys, jump in and sign up for your newsletter. That is how we keep in touch with you guys, and that's how we give you your discounts, your coupons, your giveaways. We're working on all of our stuff for the holidays right now, and we've got such great things planned, great giveaways, great projects. So you don't want to miss any of that for the holidays. So go ahead and sign up for that newsletter. Here are some of the large hole beads that we've got. We've got the matte white African opal. We've got the red porcelain jasper. We've got African turquoise right here, and of course we've got tiger eye right there. And these guys are, let me get my trusty caliper. You guys have seen that I've got my digital caliper already out and running. I think these are, yep, they're an 8mm, just shy, a little shy of 8mm bead. No, they're 8. I just didn't re-zero it. There we go. Make sure that's right. Yep, 8mm, right there. And it's a nice size for doing all kinds of things with cord. The cord, it'll fit on the 1mm leather, it'll fit on the surfer cord. They're really, really great for that. Let me get in a little bit tighter so you guys can see that. Okay. But they also really, really work well with this, what we're calling fine line, the fine line chain. I'm going to work with this brass today because I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And let me measure this. So you can kind of compare it to, whoops, sorry, I was out of frame. So you can kind of compare it to like our cords and stuff like that. It is a 0.7mm, okay? The 0.7 mil is, you know, kind of like the 0.5mm leather cord, or kind of like Chinese knotting cord, the 0.5mm or so. And it's also maybe a little bit thicker than our regular Ceylon. Okay, so it's slim, so it's going to fit through a lot of stuff. Okay, so let me pull out some beads, and we can just start playing around and seeing what fits, shall we? Hello, hi everybody. I love that you're all jumping on, and I get to see so many of you today. That's so great. I'm just going to adjust. I'm going to try and bring up the feed on my Jewelry Educator page as well, so I can see who's there also. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm ignoring you. There you guys are. I see you on my Educator page. Hello. Hello, everyone. All right, so now I've got both feeds up so I can see. Okay, for that. I am wearing this pearl bracelet. The pearl bracelet mix is going to go up on Tuesday, and I'm going to be doing this on Facebook Live on Wednesday. It's going to be really, really fun. I'm going to show you how to do 2 types of endless bracelets, but I've been wearing this thing like all the time. I'm really in love with it, so I hope you guys will be in love with it as well. Okay. So let me just start by pulling something out of, well, let me just pull this to the fore. I've got some O beads. We're just going to test and see what's going to fit on this, okay? So let me get, if you guys are familiar with the O beads, you know they're just a tiny check glass bead that kind of looks like our Hishi beads, right? Little spacer beads. And, of course, they do. They fit perfectly on this fine line chain. Let me get in even a little bit tighter so you guys can really, really see. The little donut on the pearl bracelet. Ellen, you have such keen eyes. This is a white jade, undyed, natural little jade pie, and that's also going to be in the pearl mix because I like having a little something that moves around. So this is included in the pearl mix. I found a stash of just 100 of these, and they are such a beautiful quality. So we're going to add that. That's in our little pearl mix, so it's going to be fun. Hello, Ana Maria from Puerto Rico. I hope everything is good there. I hope you're having good weather. Puerto Rico is always a place I've wanted to visit, so a big hello to you. It's great to have you. Alrighty, so here you can see, let me get it in the frame, you can see those O beads look terrific. And I think that, let me get it even tighter so you can see it. This would make even just a simple, fun little float, tiny little float necklace. You know, I love big, chunky pieces, but sometimes just playing around with a tiny little floaty thing is pretty fun. So those O beads look perfect on there. Okay. And again, we always appreciate that you guys spread the word and share the broadcast and do all of this. Again, you know, we're just a small little company here in Redwood City, so we really appreciate all of your patronage and all of your shares and likes and goodwill. So thank you guys so much. It means so much to us always, and it means a lot to me that you guys join me on Fridays for Free Tip Friday and Wednesdays for Facebook Live. This is our, this is called Slice of Life, and it's a traditional African brass hishi bead. It's something I think that doesn't get a lot of play because we use the tiara cast hishi so much. But look at how chunky, I want to say chunky monkey, look at how chunky this hishi is. This is called Slice of Life. It comes in brass and in silver, and this is the natural brass. So it's really good times. I love it so much. And so it also looks great, just kind of sliding on this guy. So this is Slice of Life right here. And you could do a little Slice of Life, and you could do a couple of these O beads. And I see that Emily's here. Hi, Em. I saw my mom jumped on. Hello, Gwenda. It's great. I love it that we can just kind of sit around and bead together via the Facebook world. And again, hello to everybody who's watching on the Kate Richburg Jewelry Educator page. Hello to you as well. And to those of you who are watching after the fact on our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Look at how cute that little stack of beads are. It's the O beads and the Slice of Life. Pretty nice, I think. Pretty good. We can also then add in, let me add this porcelain jasper to the mix because it kind of goes with what we've got, you know. I think that if you have a little stash of things going on, whoops, stay in here, you know, it's fun to just kind of create off the cuff, and that's what I do a lot of, designing right off the cuff, literally, sometimes. There's Helene. Helene. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello, Helene. It's nice to see you on the broadcast. Emily is at home in Lake County, I think, but she'll be with us, you guys. She is coming on the Halloween broadcast, and we'll have something fun cooked up for you. So look at how fantastic that looks. That little group, I think, looks great on there, on this fine line. So let's go ahead and slide those in. So those work nicely, okay? I could bead with those all day. We have, like you saw in the newsletter, we have the triangle Bali flag, which looks great, and the double Bali bead. Those look great, right? Beautiful. Those work on there really, really well. I'll put those in here. But I pulled some other stuff that I wanted to experiment with, and I literally just went over to the wall in the fulfillment room, got in everybody's way, and pulled some things. Okay, so I wanted to see if these, you know, the thing I'm kind of crushing on right now are these matte lapis beads. These are 6mm. And you guys, come on, look at the 6mm lapis go on here. I love them. Let me put a slice of life on there. And one of these lapis. Oh, can you just take it? Look at how great that is. It looks like those old-fashioned add-a-bead necklaces. Don't they? Kind of? I think they do. I think they look kind of add-a-beady, I think. I always loved those when I was little. I never had one. I always wanted one. You hear that, Mom? I always wanted one. So my mom rushes to eBay to find a vintage add-a-bead. No, those were cool. Remember, I don't know if you remember if you had a drugstore or anything downtown. The drugstore always had, it always felt like the drugstore had an add-a-bead display. So I don't know if you guys remember that, or those of you who are older like me. But it was like a little display of like chain like this, right? And the add-a-bead, I think they were on little cards or something, weren't they? And you could buy like pearls or gold beads or things like that, right? And you could just, there was a little end that you could take off the chain, add your bead, and then put the end back on. So I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who remembers those so fondly, but I really dug those. The chain that I'm using, it's our fine line chain, and the fine line comes in all of these different flavors. I've added a bunch. You can see I'm just dumping out a whole bunch of little metal beads. The Hishi, this one's called Pebbles. Another one that I think that don't get enough love or play. The Pebbles are great. And the Pebbles are also kind of a heavy-duty bead. They're also, they're an African brass bead. It's their natural finish. Both of these guys are, Pony Express and the Pebbles. So they'll look good for forever, right? They're really great. So there's a little bunch there. Let me open up. I've got some 6/0 ponies. I know, as Emily is stating, you can't ever have enough of these triangle beads, right? The triangle trays, rather. They're super handy. This is a 6/0. We're going to see if those go on. I've got the coil spacer, which I love. I've got some Happy Donuts here. The Happy Donuts are a great bead. I'm telling you, this lapis, this matte lapis, I can't get enough of it. I love it so much. Have I run out of triangles yet? No. I have a huge stack. Right. I had pop beads too, Dale. I had those. I think I actually had my mom's pop beads that I played with as a little girl. So there's some rustic, that's aged rustic mosaic Picasso in a 4/0. I'm going to lay out a few more things, and then we're just going to go through and we're going to see what fits and what doesn't. Shall we? Shall we? Let's see. I'm going to do something a little crazy because it's Friday and I can't excuse my reach. I have, look at these. Checkmates tiles. Come on now. Hey, Checkmates tiles. One of my favorite beads. I know that I always say how much I love shadows, but I also love Checkmates tiles in a 2-hole. I have a few more metal beads, the queen size shadow, that faceted barrel from Nun Design. All right. Oh, and I've got a 6/0 fire polish. Let's see if that works. Okay. All right. That looks like enough. No, Dale, I didn't mean that you were as old as my mom. I meant that pop beads or pop beads have been around for a long time. You silly lady. I'll tell everybody, I'm 52. I just turned 52 this year, so. And I'm proud of it. Better than the alternative, you guys, right? That's what I say. So 52 and fabulous. That's how it's going for me. The large hold beads are just round. Jackie, they're not faceted. Okay. We are getting more large hold beads, and we've got some of the large hole faceted rondelles and stuff coming. So yeah, we've got so many big hole beads. We thought we would go big or go home, literally, with those. Okay, so let's see how these guys fit on the chain, shall we? First, I want to see if this, please let it fit, please. Oh, come on. I was really hoping it would. Wah, wah. Let me see if I can, maybe if I cut this a little bit, get a clean cut. Yes! Who's the boss of that tile bead? All right. I can't take it. I'm gonna have to cut this right here. I'm gonna cut that there. Oh, you guys. Come on now. This. Yeah, I mean, heck, we might as well tell, you know, our age. Who cares, right? Who cares? That's what I say. I'm going to get a piece of tape. I had a feeling that this was going to work. But you know, it's funny. I was thinking about it the other day because my husband and I are both almost at the exact same age, you know. And I don't know, we were listening to some, you know, crazy music of our youth, right? I don't know. Crazy loud punk rock music, right? And we both look at each other and we're like, oh, well, you know, you can't take the punk rock out of the kids, right? So it was kind of funny. So I think you're only as old as you feel, right? I think that's true. So look at this with the tiles. Can you guys see that? Because I'm way down in the corner. Let me move this over. Let me move that naughty kitty. Let me move some of this stuff over the side very carefully, very carefully. And you guys can see, look at how this looks right there. Can you stand it? I can't stand it. I literally love it so much. Talk about vintage, right? These tiles. And if you crimp it, I meant to show you all of these instead. Show you all these beads on this chain, but instead all I want to do is just string these tiles. Look, you guys, isn't that fun? I think it's fun. I hope that you think it's fun. So I'm just going to leave this to the side here for just a second. And I kind of like how they kind of stack on each other and stuff. And you're going, well, Kate, that's awesome, but how would you actually close this? I'm going to show you in a second. Let's get back to, though, our beads. Now that I had them all stacked, they were all nice and pretty, and now they're a big mess. What a surprise. So let's just make sure that the rest of these guys work. I want to really check out the 6/0s for you. So let's get a 6/0. Okay. Yes, 6/0. Perfect. 6 mil. Yes, 6mm fire polish. Come on. Yes. That's why I really think that this has such a vintage flair to it. Because if you look, like if you have an old set of, I don't know, what do I want to say, vintage crystal, like old Swarovski crystal or old Austrian crystal. Take a look at it. I bet that some of you have them strung on this foxtail chain, as it was called back then. I know I have a set that was strung on chain. And again, it's such a vintage way of doing it. But look at all those little beads. I'm going to get right down tight there so you can see that. Okay? I think it's really, really good. I think that's good. And that 6 mil, and you can see, let me hold this so you guys can see the hole. Let me re-zero this here. That hole in the 6 millimeter, it's a pretty big hole. Glass beads, especially this, the check glass beads, they have pretty big holes, bigger than you might think. And I think when Janice, whoops, I didn't really zero that out, did I? Let me zero it out. There we go. Looks kind of funny. When Janice writes the copy, a lot of times she puts all of the hole sizes and stuff in there so you know what they are. Let me see if I can get it so there we go. You can kind of see right down that hole. Okay. Yes! Mishmash Jewelry, yes, I think it's Michelle, right? Michelle, you read my mind. Get out of my mind, lady. I was just going to show you how, yes, it would work with an illusion necklace. So let me show you that, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to crimp this sucker right now. So let me get some crimp tubes. I've got some different sizes. I'm going to get that one. And I'm going to get a crimp cover. Okay, and let me show you how that's going to look. Let me do this in copper. Let me get the copper. Let me undo it here. You can be right up close and personal here with it. So I'm going to experiment. I think with an illusion necklace, I think I can get this with a 1 millimeter. Okay, I'm sorry, a 2 millimeter crimp tube. Okay. So there's our 2x2 heavy wall crimp. Can you see that? No, you can't. Let me get super tight so you can. Okay. Heavy wall crimp tube. Okay. That heavy wall crimp should work very, very well with this fine line chain. So I'm just going to do it kind of here on the end. I'm not going to do a big thing. So let me put the crimp on, and indeed, it does fit, and look, it would make a great little spacer bead on these two. Don't you think? It would look good like that. Now I'm just going to crimp it, and I'm going to crimp using our Xuron crimping plier. Let me grab it. I've got it over here. Sorry, I didn't have it within my reach. Alrighty. Let me get this up close and personal so you guys can see this. There's the crimp tube. Can you see it? There's my crimping plier, and I'm going to come in and gently with the little tooth, and we've got a ton of skill builders on this crimping on beadshop.com. But see, when I crimp this tight like this, I don't want to crimp it so tight that I'm going to crimp through the crimp tube and possibly damage my chain. All right? So I want to go fairly tight enough so it's tight around there, but loose enough so it's not going to damage anything. And now, let me crimp it just a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm going to fold it. If it's not completely crimped, it's a little hard to fold. There we go. Look at that. Look at how that crimp tube is on there. Now, you could just simply string some beads on. Let me go for these 6 millimeters because they look so nice. Okay? And so as an illusion necklace, I can come in and crimp on the other side. Let me get a little bit bigger there so you guys can see it. I'll come in, I want to crimp, I want it to be visually tight, but not so super physically tight that it's not going to have movement here, right? I think that's the secret. Okay? So I'm going to crimp. Now I'm going to turn and fold just gently. Now, you could leave these crimp tubes just as they are, like this, right? But I left a little bit of space, you guys, so I could put in or put on crimp covers. Okay, see that crimp cover? Remember how I was talking about that on Wednesday? How there's, it's like a little Pac-Man mouth that's coming up. Well, it comes up and it eats the crimp tube from below. And then you just very carefully close it up. It's a little far from my field of vision, so bear with me here while I fiddle with it for just a second. And now I just come in and I gently round it with the rounding part of my crimping plier. And look at how great that looks, just there. Okay. Now again, if we wanted it on this side, another crimp cover, again, that little bit of space lets that crimp cover sit perfectly right in there. It has a little, just a little hair of room. Okay. I'm going to come in, squeeze it. Then I'm going to squeeze right on the opening. That one went a little bit better. Look at that. Boom. It's all she wrote. And I think it looks pretty nice. I'm going to cut that off, I think. So we've got that little sample. Just there. Okay. So now let me go back to this multiple here with the tiles. I am just in love with the tiles. We could maybe even have something that's a little smaller if I wanted. I have a daisy spacer here. I'm going to see if those daisies work too. Why not? But I kind of like this kind of bunchy look with those slices of life, or however I want to call it. But let's see if these tiny daisies go on. I mean, we might as well. Let me try it on this one. And indeed they do. Look at that. Daisy spacer. Works perfectly. Because the holes, again, the holes on the daisy are pretty big for such a tiny bead. Let me put a few more of these tile beads, Checkmate's tiles. My guess would be that the tila beads and half tilas would also work on this chain. Okay. And welcome, Shelby. It's nice to have you. We're just really playing around today. I'm doing some playing around with our new fine line chain to just share with you some of the things that you could do with it, and kind of maybe a vintage feel. So we've got these tila beads, Checkmate's tiles. We've got some 6/0 on that guy over there. 6/0, our coiled spacer, our 6mm matte lapis, and the matte lapis is not a large hole bead. Okay. It's just a regular size, so you don't have to have a large hole bead with this. Though we do have, let me get this just a little bit bigger there so you guys can see. We do have some large hole beads that I'm working with as well, and they go on this chain really, really nicely. So as you're stringing along, you can see, here's the tiles. Let me put it on my wrist there. And I would leave a little bit of room so they could move around. Okay, but I want to show you, I haven't really closed one of these before, but I had kind of an idea in my head, so let's see if it works. Okay, and yeah, Sherry, we want to be careful when we crimp the chain. We want to crimp it so it's firm, your crimps are firm around the chain, but we don't want to crimp it so much that we, crimp the chain in half. Let me show you with this piece of chain here. Let me take these daisies off so they don't fall. Let's get really tight, and before I crimp that other one, let's look at the makeup of this chain real quick so you guys can see this. The chain, the way that the link is made on this chain is there's a link that's like this, straight across, that has kind of a little prong there and a little prong there, right? And then there's a link going in the opposite direction. See if I can make my hands go here, right? So, and it kind of actually fits kind of like this. So there's the prong of this chain kind of goes in and folds over to the prong of that chain. So they're not soldered, but they're closed really, really well. And it's kind of hard to see, but when I cut it apart, and when you get your own chain, you can see that there's the tiniest, I'm going to see how tight I can get up in here without it getting blurry. You can see the tiniest bit of air in there so that there's movement in this chain. Okay, kind of similar to like what you'd call a snake chain. You remember all those like little skinny chains we used to wear with our little initials and stuff on them? It's very similar to that, but it's really, really sturdy. And when I went to crimp it, you just want to crimp it nice and tightly, but not so much that you're going to crush the chain. But you'll be in pretty good shape. Okay. So back to this bracelet over here, and I've taped both ends, so that the beads don't fall on the floor. I grabbed some fold-over crimps, and I'm going to see, again, I'm going to see if this works, because I don't know if it will or not, but I'm going to see if it does. We've got some different crimps on the website. We have some oval crimps, some different things, but very specifically for this chain, we have something called the fold-over crimp. Okay. Now this fold-over crimp also kind of has that vintage feel to it, kind of a vintage look, and they're plated so the plating matches this chain exactly. I wonder if I could get two in here. I was going to do one on each leg, but let me see if I can crimp two in. Shall we? You know what? I think we can. Look at that. I think they fit in just fine. Let me get in pretty tight so you guys can see this. I was going to crimp one on each end, but I don't think I need to. Let me see. It all may end in tears, so you never know if this is big enough. I'm going to use the rounding portion of my crimping plier to help me just round this chain, round the edges of the crimp around here. Whoops, that was a little heavy-handed, wasn't it? Come on. There we go. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that will sit in there on one end. Let's take a look. The silicone slides that we've used with leather, yeah, you know, the silicone slides don't work as well with these. We were testing them out. The jury's still out on those. So I'm going to try those out. But look at that little end, you guys. I think it's looking pretty good on there. Again, I was going to do two and connect them together with a jump ring, but I don't think we need to. I think that two of these, and there's just a little tiny end of chain there that I just want to cut very carefully if I could. There we go. Look at that. Then, you know, Carol, that's a great question. Would I use a little bit of glue for extra security? You know what? I'll be honest. I would not use glue. The glue, I think, will just get in the way of the two metals really coming together and tightening, you know, just add an extra layer in there that I think would be messy. This is, let me really pull on it so you guys can see it. This is really, I mean, it's it's in there. It's not going in there. So, but you really want to make sure, let me get this kind of close to the camera so you guys can see it. You really want to make sure that the little flaps of the fold over crimp are over both of those strands, okay? And you should be okay. Okay. So let me just string a few of these on and I'll do the other side, right? We've got a few minutes, I might as well. Let's see something to fruition, shall we? And you could do, you know, again, the slice of life is a little big, but I kind of like them because I'm going to leave them, loose. So that's what's going to happen there. But take a look. If you haven't done the fine line chain, I think it is time. And these, you know what, I don't even know what color tiles I grabbed. Let me see if I can find the, I don't know if I can find the tag sitting around anywhere. But we have a whole array of really beautiful colors of the Checkmates tiles. Again, they have such a vintage feel. 2 whole beads to me feel so vintage. I love, June, that you had to leave to buy some chain. I love that part. Thank you so much for supporting our small business. We really appreciate it. We appreciate every single one of you on that. Let me get some more. The Slice of Life, man, I think it's a good one. We have them in silver, too. We don't carry them in copper, I don't think. I don't think they come in copper. But we also have some different hishi in copper. All of those metal hishi beads, I think, would look great. Let me put on just a couple more, a few more. And then I'll look at some closures, okay? But yeah, it's not too bad. I'm going to see if I can size it to fit me. I hope I cut enough chain because I kind of did it, again, right off the cuff. But and a big hello to everybody who's watching on my Kate Richburg Jewelry Educator page. I see a few more of you have popped on, so hello and thank you. Thank you so much for that. Let me add one more section, and then we're just going to let these tiles kind of do their thing, okay? Alrighty. So here's this, and if this doesn't look like a vintage slide bracelet, you guys, I don't know what does, okay? So I'm going to tape the ends because it'll be easier for me to handle. So let me get my tape. You know, I knew you were going to ask that, Sandra. What color is the tile bead? Let me just look real quick. I'll tell you guys what it is. Just bear with me here as I can find it here. If I can find our website. There we go. I'll tell you what it is. It's a great one. You know, I think that the Checkmates tiles, really look nice. You could also use the Tila beads, though. I think that those will work out really well because the tiles have, or the Tilas rather, have such big holes on them as well. And let's see, I've just brought it up here. The color of this tile bead that I am using is, there it is. It's the Luster Opaque Green. That's what it is, which I love. No, you know, Trish, I didn't grab any chips to find out, to try out, but I think the chips might have holes that are too small, though I could be lying. But sometimes on the chips, since they're a little fragile, the holes are drilled pretty small. So that's one that I would guess that wouldn't. But it's the Luster, what did I say? Luster Opaque Green. Yeah, for those tiles. What also would look really cool are, we've got those matte navy that are kind of cool. That would also have kind of a vintage effect with those matte beads. So let me wrap this around my wrist here. And with the clasp, let me put a clasp on one end too, so I don't have to guess. Okay, and I think I hope I brought a clasp. Yeah, I did. I brought, just in case it worked, I brought a swivel. okay? And I love a swivel clasp. I think a swivel is great, especially with something like this 2-hold guy, because it just adds to the movement of the piece, okay? What I would do on the other end is I might make this adjustable, maybe, I could, or I could just put a jump ring. Let me get my my chain nose pliers here, excuse my reach, across the screen. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Sherry. The tiles, to me, I like them because they're just, I don't know, I guess it's because they have that vintage feel to them, and the colors are so good. I really like them. So here's a jump ring. I'm going to use the jump ring. I might go down one size with this ring, but it's what I had sitting here. So I might go our 4mm ring, which I'll change out a little bit later. But it works for what we've got going on now. Let me wrap this around and say that I need a little bit of room here. There we go, untwist. There we go. Come on. This goes, that's going to stay there. Bring this around. I'm going to say that I'm going to cut this because I can add a ring. I'm going to cut this about right here. And then I'll give you guys a door-to-door measurement. Okay. I think the tiles seem more like individual beads than the tile is. I think that's a pretty astute observation. They do have more like a bead sense, and the tile is kind of want to smush all together. Okay. Shelby, I'm sorry that the product links aren't clickable, but you can go right to beadshop.com after the broadcast, and you can just jump right on and shop. I will put this, I'll have Karen take a photo of this in a little bit, and I will put the materials up on our bead table blog, and there'll be a link to it on our Free Tip Friday page on our blog, on our website to the blog. Let's put these two back in there. Let's hope that it just wasn't a fluke that it fit. Let me get up nice and tight so you guys can see this again. So to close these up, I'm going to put the little rounder. You guys know the crimping plier, right? It has the little oval rounder. I'm going to the biggest size right here. And crimp on one side. Whoops. Come on, go back in there. There we go. You want to crimp on one side, and then you want to crimp on the other, capturing them both in. And then just gently work one side against the other until everything's tight. No antique brass chain? What do you mean, Joanne? It should be there. Let's look under fine line. Let's see, I'm going to just check real quick. If you put, nope, oh, I put fire line. That doesn't really work. Fine line. Yeah, antique brass, it's there. Just put in fine line in your search box, and you'll see the antique brass chain there. Okay. All right, so that's there, and let's put a jump ring on the end, shall we? Jump ring here. This is a good size for this end. Nice and tight, close it up. Thanks, Gita, for linking it in the brass. Look at that. Look at how much fun is that bracelet. So much fun. I love it. I can't wait to wear this with everything I own. I really dig these. And look at how fast that was. And it would make a really good, it would also make a fantastic necklace, right? But it would make a great, quick holiday gift. And you can fill this up a little bit more with tiles, but I like the floating effect that this has. Okay. Let me see if it fits. Let me get a little closer to me. Sorry, I took it out of frame because I can't put it on unless it's a little closer to me here. There we go. Done and done. Looks like it fits just perfectly with that clasp there. Let me give you a door-to-door measurement like I said I would. I've got my little handy tape right here. Yep, from door to door, it's about 7 1/4, almost right on the money, and my wrist is about 6 3/4. So that's it. Okay. The links are called fold over crimps, June. If you at beadshop.com, if you just put fold over crimp in the search box, it will come right up in all of the different flavors. Okay. And they come, I think, in a package of 10. So you've got plenty to work with. Okay. Oh, and thanks, Gita, as always, for linking. So you could put any kind of little sliders, right? It's like, you know, those little Victorian slider bracelets, right? You could mix up the colors of the tiles. I think it would look awesome. You know, we could do a tile, and then instead of a tile right next to it, we could put some, you know, just individual beads and then another tile. There's all kinds of stuff going on here that you could kind of riff on this, right? So I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Just as a reminder, we did this guy here just with having little, we crimped with the 2x2 crimp tubes on there, okay? And then we have here the 6 millimeter coil spacer, and then just a regular 6 millimeter semi-precious. So all of that stuff works on this. And yeah, Sherry, I know just what you're saying. I like the look of the air in this too. I'm kind of surprised that I do. I think it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I love the lapis. The matte lapis is so super delicious. Okay, well, you guys, I guess that brings our excitement to a close for me. I'm going to move the camera around. And as I say, Karen will take a photo of this and post it a little bit later. And I'll have a link to all the ingredients and stuff on the blog. Let me move around here so I can see everybody while I say goodbye. Just as a reminder, you guys, if you're not a part of our bead table group, we are having kind of a special little event in the bead shop community, the bead table on Facebook this weekend. We're doing a little trunk show with some exclusive vintage finds over there. So that is going on this weekend. And it starts tomorrow at 9:30. No, I'm sorry, not 9:30. I still lied to you. 10:30 Pacific time. And there's kind of some guidelines and stuff written over there. So if you're not a part of our bead shop community, please do go over there and join us. We'd love to see you. Oh, and thank you, Sandra. Just mentioned that you have my book and you love it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you have my book and that you love it and that you're doing some metal working. I love that. There's our Alfred. You can see I've moved him while I'm rearranging my desk here, so it gives you a little look. I think he's sleeping. He's a little twitchy right now because he's dreaming of, I don't know, whatever cats dream about, right? Hunting or dinner, one of the two things. There we go. Let me turn the camera around so I can see you, and we'll log off here. There we go. And there I am. Yes. Let me lock the camera in. Okay. Yes. And just as a quick question, you have Kim Crawford. Yeah, when you shop the albums, let me tell you, and I'll do a Facebook Live actually in the group before I let the albums go live, just kind of explaining everything. But essentially, just in a nutshell, the albums are going to go up. Each individual picture will have like the name of the thing, the name of the bead, some size dimensions, what it's made out of, and under that particular picture, and I'll let you know how many there are available of each thing. Under that particular picture, you just go in and you say me and how many it is that you want. That's it, under the individual picture. So it's pretty super easy. It'll be super easy to shop, okay? And let's see. So yes, thank you everybody for watching on our beadshop.com page and on my Kate Richburg Jewelry Educator page. I appreciate both of those as we're simulcasting to both of those pages. Just as a reminder, you can find me right on our YouTube channel as well. If you go and you give beadshop.com a follow on our YouTube, you'll get notifications every time a new video posts. And you can also follow our blog as well, and then you'll get notifications about when we post a new blog. I usually post one on Friday that has Free Tip Friday stuff in it. Sometimes Drea posts one for information and stuff like that. So there's a lot of great information over in our blog, and you can get to it from our website, beadshop.com. Okay, well, happy weekend, everybody. Those of you, just a reminder, the pearls will be going up on our website on Tuesday, the pearl mix, and on Wednesday we're going to be making 2 versions of this wonderful wrap that I think you guys are really going to love. So, have a safe, happy, wonderful, and creative weekend, all of my darlings, and I'll see you next week on Facebook Live. Thanks so much, Kate Richburg for beadshop.com. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.